This is how to read Jin Ping Mei Chapter 36 in the embroidery version. Mother Fang said that she would marry Sister Han Ai, and Simon King Bao took Wang Liuer in the script version. Mother Fang said that she would marry Sister Han Ai, and Simon King Bao took Wang Liuer 1. Grassroots research on body shape before. Sai Jin and Simon King asked for a concubine to have a baby, but Simon King was so immersed in the joy of being promoted that he forgot about it. Taking advantage of the opportunity to introduce Kai Zhuangyuan to King County, Sai Jin once again urged in the letter that Simon King finally remembered to seek medical treatment in case of emergency and asked the matchmakers to look for him. By chance, Li Ping'er's nanny and part-time matchmaker Lao Feng helped Simon King find a good woman. She was Han Aiji, the daughter of Han Daoguo and Wang Liuer, who had been so lively in the previous 2 episodes. Of course, this is also the author's deliberate arrangement. The more intricate the relationship between the characters in a novel, the stronger the internal tension of the story and the higher the interest. Han Daoguo's daughter turned out to be an only child. However, since she had the opportunity to curry favor with the Grand Master's housekeeper, who would she marry? Even if she wanted to marry far away, she just gritted her teeth, and then happily and gratefully agreed. Simon King is very generous, and the Simon family is responsible for all the wedding dowry. The Han family only needs to make some shoes and feet for their daughter as mentioned above. The shoe feet are based on 3-inch golden lotus, so the girl's family can only do it themselves. An important scene in the novel happened next. When Simon King went to the Han family to see Sister Han Ai, it is said to be looking at each other, but in fact it is just a procedure, which is almost enough. After all, Sai Qian's goal is to have children and raise children, not to have a beautiful concubine. Therefore, Simon King has a potential goal for this seeing each other trip to the Han family. He is very interested in knowing about the heroine who caused the Han family, Che Dan and others, to be in trouble in the previous 2 times, Han Daoguo madam. What kind of woman is she? After arriving at the Han family, for a long time, Wang Liuer led his daughter Aiji out to meet him. This Simon King didn't look at his daughter. He only looked at the woman. The text describes Wang Liuer through Simon King's eyes. His final experience is, "My heart was shaking and I couldn't stop. I didn't say anything, but I thought to myself, it turns out that there is such a woman in Han Daoguo at home. No wonder those people fooled around with her the day before yesterday." Simon King's heart suddenly moved. Another beautiful woman? That's not necessarily the case. For Wang Liuer, we need to do a detailed study based on the figure, because this role is by no means as casual and simple as it seems on the surface. This is what she looks like. She has a long and slender figure, a purple-colored oval face, and a long mustache. She is moist, without makeup, and her natural figure is charming. She is slim and lazy, and she is born with a beautiful spirit. The curved eyebrows draw distant mountains, and a pair of eyes are like autumn water. To put it simply, there are 3 characteristics: tall, dark skin, and beautiful eyebrows. The literary description is somewhat vague, although it is full of beauty. We don't know its level, so we might as well find some characters from the text as a reference to compare and verify. Compared with Meng Yulu. Meng Yulu is also tall, but Meng Yulu's face is plain with a few pockmarks on the forehead. That is, fair but slightly pockmarked. Compare with Li Ping'er. Li Ping'er has a short figure plus fair skin. Skin color is easy to understand. Chinese people have said since ancient times that one white color covers all ugliness, which corresponds to one black color destroys all. So the question now is it better for a woman to be short or tall? For this question, we can use a passage from Ryer in the 75th chapter as evidence. Ryer said with a smile, "Dad, I can't tell you. Mother's body is still fair. I see that although Wu Niang is good-looking, her skin is average, red and white, not as fair as the eldest and Sanyang behind her. Third, my mother is just a little more pockmarked, but he, Misu, is pretty and fair for this position." There is another sentence in the poem, 5 short bodies. The background of Ryer's remarks was that Simon King complimented her on her white body in bed. So she took the opportunity to comment on the wives and concubines of Simon's family. We can understand this passage like this. Basically, Li Ping'er is the fairest, followed by Ryer, because she is only modest to Li Ping'er and comments on others, Wu Yunyang and Meng Yulu are also good and fair, but Meng Yulu there are a few more pockmarks. Finally, there is Pan Jinlian. Her skin is fair and rosy, but it is undeniable that she looks very beautiful. So, where does Sun Zui stand among this group of wives and concubines? The word rather expresses an unexpected attitude. Obviously, Ryer is praising Sun Zui at this time, so being pretty is obviously a compliment, because Bai Jing is there. In the same way, short body must also be a compliment. The above is just my reasoning based on the text. Mr. Hu Wenyang from Taiwan also had the same question and did some detailed research. His conclusion is probably that the quality of the figure depends largely on the size of the feet. The ancients appreciated the 3-inch golden lotus on women, which must also be matched with flexible. Small is clever, leaping or is short, and Pan Jinlian is probably not tall either. Pan Jinlian hates Li Ping'er so much, but never ridicules her short stature, nor does she ridicule Sun Zui's short stature. Instead, she laughs at Wang Liuer for saying, "If you break melons, you will become a whore." It is conceivable that being too tall is definitely bad. At least it is not commensurate with the unique golden lotus. In fact, many women in ancient times who had excessively bound feet had difficulty walking, and being too tall naturally brought huge inconvenience to their lives. This is no longer a matter of smallness or cleverness, but a conflict between aesthetic taste and practical function. Therefore, we can draw the conclusion. In terms of figure, Meng Yulu is not beautiful, and Wang Liuer is even less beautiful. 2. The cultivation and charm of a mature woman. Wang Liuer is not beautiful, and she is not confident at all. For example, when she heard that Simon King wanted to date her, he was surprised and asked Lao Feng. There are several ladies in his house who have similar Shinto and Taoism. He is willing to want an ugly guy like me. Generally speaking, Taoists despise Simon King extremely, and there is no lower limit for his greed for money and lust. If you can understand that Wang Liuer is actually very ugly, then this contempt will probably be increased a little more, maybe on par with Lao Feng or Pan Jinlian mocked him as well. The daughter of a householder steals from a cobbler and sues whenever she can. Indeed, Simon King's personal aesthetics is a proposition that cannot be verified or reasoned with. But we can discover the extraordinary qualities of Wang Liuer and even Meng Yulu through some details, and thereby identify Simon King's vision. When we met Simon King for the first time in Meng Yulu, we missed an analysis of a detail. This action was reproduced here by Wang Liuer. Wang Liuer, Mom quickly brought out the tea. The woman wiped off the water stains on the cup with her hands and asked him to hand it over. Meng Yulu, the woman got up, took the first one, wiped off the water stains on the edge with her delicate hands, handed it to Simon King, and wished her blessings. Why do these two very common actions attract our special attention? This is the only repetition in Jin Ping Mei. The Chihua version also repeats this action when describing the young prostitute Zheng Aiyu later, but the portrait version deliberately deleted it. Wang Liuer's paragraph is in the Chihua version. In the original painting, the woman took and wiped off the water stains on the cup. Obviously, the subject of taking and wiping off can only be the hand. The with hands in the embroidery version, or Meng Yulu's with delicate hands, seem very repetitive. However, it is this deliberate repetition that expresses the special meaning and charm of this action. This is the first time that the two women have seen Simon King, but they both noticed the water stain on the edge of the teacup. But they did not. He wiped it off with his own hands, not with a rag. Calmly. This action was intentional, yet completely natural, neither shy nor pretentious. Therefore, compared with other little girls, we can understand this action as a kind of cultivation of a mature woman, which is reflected in a kind of meticulous care for people and a perceptual accumulation of life, as can be seen from the following text. Simon King has repeatedly been satisfied with Wang Liuer's ability to speak and understand. Obviously, we can understand that Simon King has a unique aesthetic and taste for mature women. He is not only obsessed with beauty, Pan Jinlian or young sister Li Gui or Zheng Aiyu. Here we add another important question. How old are these two so-called mature women? In the 7th chapter, Simon King was 28 years old and Meng Yulu was 30 years old. This time, Simon King's main business was to marry Wang Liuer's 15-year-old daughter, and Wang Liuer was already 2 years old, 19 years old. Looking at the others, Wu Yunyang, Pan Jinlian, and Li Ping'er are all in their mid-20s or even close to 30 years old. This age is naturally not old in our era, but Wang Liu'er of that era was already Xia's sister Han Ai's mother, and is even about to become her child's grandmother. Ping Ping is more than 13 years old, and the cardamom leaves are in early February. Since ancient times, in poetry, music, and even dream of red mansions, the beauty of time is only in the prime of life at the age of 14 or 15. Only Jin Ping Mei has no interest in the world of teenagers. Its writing reaches the pinnacle of the world of strong adults. Undoubtedly, compared to Bao Dai Kai and the youthful world of A Dream of Red Mansions, the world of The Plum in the Golden Vase is indeed the world of adults. Perhaps, Dream of Red Mansions belongs to the dream area of young girls Hui Chen, while Jin Ping Mei is basically the real life of wind, frost, snow and rain. From this perspective, whether it is the people and things in Jin Ping Mei or the nature and evil in Jin Ping Mei, we need to use a strong and secular heart to experience and think about it. From this perspective, perhaps any frivolous or casual glance is tantamount to blasphemy against this great masterpiece. 3. Concave Simon King came to help Sai Jin go on a blind date, and Wang Liu'er was filled with joy. He kowtowed and thanked me. Our heads and feet belong to my eldest father, and he has to worry about the children. It would be difficult for me and my wife to repay eldest father even if we kill ourselves. 3 words of Big Daddy are more sweet than one. This flattery can really catch up with the Earl, probably out of his admiration for mature women. Simon King was fascinated by Wang Liu'er and couldn't help but show mercy to her. Let's take a look at how the author of Jin Ping Mei handled this wonderful moment. Simon King was intrigued when he saw the woman talking obediently and saying it was just his father's fault. Before going out, he said to him, "I'll go." The woman said, "Sit down again." Simon King said, "No more sitting." It is a simple 9 words, but one is about to say but stops. Another is about to say but is stopped. One is interested in the king of Xiang, and one is interested in the goddess. All are written in these 9 characters that seem to be intentional and sometimes unintentional. We still remember the rookie who only visited prostitutes and brothels, and couldn't help but wander around Wang Po's shop when he met a beautiful woman. However, the rookie of the past poisoned Wu Da, angered Hua Zixu after Lai Wang was deported, and after successfully hooking up with Pan Jinlian, Li Ping'er, and Song Huilian, he had already become accustomed to the wind and rain, and had grown strong wings. He even learned that one guest is not as good as 2 hosts and directly asked Lao Feng to help pull 1 pimp. "What's the cost?" "Just 1 tael of silver." This is what Lao Feng said to Wang Liu'er. The eldest father in the house came to the house over there yesterday and said to me like this: "He went to see the child and left you in the cold. He will come and sit with you for half a day. What do you say? There is no one here. If you get along with him, you will have no food, clothing, food or supplies. When you get used to it, a house will be found for you tomorrow. It is better than living here, in the secluded area of Jlazi." The word concave is full of connotation. Wang Liu'er happily agreed without saying anything. Think about it back then. For Pan Jinlian, he spent enough money to beat a silver man like her, Wu Yunaying said. For Li Ping'er, the risks were not trivial. When he came to Song Huilian, he learned to be smart. But in the end I couldn't help but get stuck in and couldn't extricate myself. This may be because it is not easy to seize a woman from her husband, a beautiful woman, a rich woman, a pleasing woman. But if it is just for sex, it will not be too difficult. At least it doesn't require too much gold and silver, and it doesn't require sacrificing human lives. And Wang Liu'er is just such a woman. She can be even more prostitute than a prostitute. A prostitute can even pretend to have some emotions and orgasms. But Wang Liu'er is directly a sex machine, and her request is also very simple. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want the title of concubine to stay together forever. She just wants a little material reward and a little money. As a result, the most serious but most despicable business in Jin Ping Mei finally started from this chapter. Let's take a look at how this business is written. It does not conflict with the various affairs and adulteries of Pan Jinlian, Li Ping'er, and Song Huilian. Wang Liu'er is Wang Liu'er after all. Simon King came here secretly, and it was normal to meet him without saying a few polite words first. At first, Simon King sat in the open room and said, "The woman will accompany you once and let you sit in the room." This can be said to be an invasion, or it can be said to be luring a wolf into the room. Of course, Wang Liuer likes wolves in the first place. Entering the room, we saw the scenery inside, on the king bed in the compartment with a paper window on the front. For silk-cut sheets of various colors hanging on Zhongsheng Yu Yingying. Incense sticks stuck in the ground. The tea Wang Liuer personally served was tea with walnuts and salted bamboo shoots. According to the usual design of the text of Jin Ping Mei, we can easily read the erotic flavor from the above arrangements. Next, we talked, ate, drank, and exchanged cups and cups. The woman moved her seat closer to Simon King, chatted with him, and passed the wine. Then Simon King and the woman drank one mouthful of wine after another. When no one came in, Simon King put his arms round his neck and kissed her. The woman smacked the lips. People can relax their hands. Although Simon King was sexually interested in Wang Liuer, even if it was their first meeting, Wang Liuer still took the initiative. The same was true for the subsequent sexual intercourse. Obviously, Simon King found a new pleasure that was completely different from that of wives, concubines, and prostitutes. This pleasure kept him entertained until his death.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.